right, good morning, folks. Today is Monday, July 11th. Welcome to episode number 150 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Briefing. I'm your host, Dr. Gerald, and over the next 30 minutes plus, give or take, more give, 10 minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news stories of the day on what it means to you as a practitioner, so how you can operationalize it today, or if you're looking to break into the industry, give you that situational awareness, give you that context on how things are operating in here, and ultimately be able to just dominate that interview question when you get it, which you will get. Shout out and thanks to this stream sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Cyber criminals have stolen your company's data and derailed your business operations. Barricade Cyber Solutions will help you resolve this ransomware attack and get your business back on track. Shout out and thanks. Really appreciate the support and the work that Barricade Cyber Solutions is doing. They just got a brand new website. So if you're interested, maybe you were kind of like leery because you saw the website. You're like, I don't know if I want to call these guys for my 911. My entire data center is on fire. Well, now they got a new website, same great team, same great management, just a facelift, if you will, on the site. I want to remind you, if you hold professional certifications like CISP, CISA, CISM, or any other certification that requires CPEs or CEUs, each episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Briefing is worth half a CPE. So 2.5 a week, 10 a month. Be sure to document literally the easiest, and I would argue the most enjoyable way to earn CPEs, simply by saying what's up in chat. Donald Carpenter, I see you saying what's up. Donald Carpenter, half a CPE. So if anybody ever pushes back from an audit perspective, all you have to do is direct them to the Simply Cyber YouTube channel. Tell them that you went to, whatever, 30, 40, 50, 150, if you've been to every episode. Daily Cyber Threat Briefing, and that the auditor is happy to, go through the comments and see that for themselves. If you are live, love it. I see these hashtags team live coming in. Thanks for being here so much. We're at 67, pretty strong for an 8 a.m. on a Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time. If you're coming from the International Theater, welcome. Everybody is welcome here at Simply Cyber. If you're on hashtag Team Replay, be sure to drop a comment in chat with your name, at least to get credit. If it's hashtag Team Replay, to identify that way, that's good. I do want to point out, I've noticed this. If you're watching on replay on LinkedIn, the way the comments go, they're very temporal, so they don't appear until you've actually reached that part of the video to kind of give that illusion of you're attending a live stream. Simply from the CPE perspective and for a richer experience, I would strongly encourage you go to the Simply Cyber YouTube channel, which you can get to by going to youtube.com and then type it in Simply Cyber and search, or it's just youtube.com/Gerald Ozier, which is my full name down there, right here. You can just type that in without the space and you'll get there. Long story short, you can drop the comment, super easy. And you get access to all the emotes. By the way, shout out to squad team members. On Friday last week, some of you know this because of Discord, I added 3 new emotes available to all squad team members. So we've got the dumpster on fire, we've got the the this is fine dog, and then the third one is what was the third one? Maybe I heart NIST. I'm not sure, but there's 3 new emotes. So now we've got Randy, Carl, Oprah, Elon, dumpster fire, dog. Like it's really stacking up nicely. So enjoy that if you haven't. Now, if you're watching on replay, you get the ability to jump right to the news. So when this tag right here turns into news, we're off and running. But until then, for the next couple minutes, especially because it's a Monday, y'all, I'm going to be taking a slug off this coffee and welcoming my friends, this community, into the day and into the chat. Couple things, programming notes. One of the winners of the TCM Academy Practical Ethical Hacking course on Friday contacted me directly and said, hey, I've already taken the class. I'd love to throw the raffle back into the pile and have it raffled off. So guys, we have an impromptu, unexpected raffle for the final TCM Practical Ethical Hacking course later today. So stay tuned if you want to win that. And thanks to all of you. Like Kimberly had won it and threw it back. Chinadu won it. I'm sorry, I forget who won it on Friday and threw it back. I have it in Discord. But my point is, I genuinely appreciate that you guys are about the community and making sure that, access to information gets, into the hands of those who need it, instead of just kind of like hoarding it for yourself. What's up, Michael Torres? Hey, Secmeister. Carrie, always nice to see you. John De La Cruz, Reggie Davis in chat. Marcus C. Hello, Kimberly. Good to see you. Is Alexis Julian in here? We're in the final week, y'all, before I return back to my main studio, where I'm not going to be able to say Alexis's name. It'll just be Ms. Julian following that. Ryan Spishot, good to see you. Guys, I got it. My light. I got to get my light better. All right, James Etukudu. Nick Barker from the West Coast getting up early. I appreciate that. Hello, Luis Lon. That's unfortunate. Is in the house. Good to see you. All right. No, not just on YouTube. That's unfortunate. Especially on YouTube. I'm telling you, Oh, I see, Alexis. Good to see you. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Jax is here, so we can get started. Good stuff. I will be here tomorrow. I know I kind of teased last week that I would be out Tuesday, but that situation is very fluid. And as of right now, I will be here tomorrow. So let's get into the news, y'all.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
It's Monday, July 11th, 2022. China tries to censor what could be the biggest data hack in history. Chinese censors are working overtime to clamp down on news that the data they've siphoned from their citizens over the years is apparently out there and for sale. This is a follow-up to the story we covered last week, in which a hacker, only identified as China Dan, announced they had acquired data on 1 billion Chinese citizens. The Financial Times has written that Weibo, essentially China's version of Twitter, and WeChat were already censoring any mention of hashtags containing data leak or database breach. Censors blocked existing posts and even reportedly asked at least one poster with a big follower base to come in for questioning.
Wow. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I noticed that you had over 1 million subscribers and you posted about this. Why don't you come on downtown to the headquarters and we'll just have a quick chat? Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so we covered it last week, guys. There was a major data breach. I think this is the one where the law enforcement office accidentally had it misconfigured and people were able to download it. I might be mixing my stories up, but anyways, this poor bastard, whoever's going to go downtown for questioning, is going to have probably a nice sanitized story to tell about why they made a mistake about posting about the breach. Okay, so this is no surprise, right? Many of us who live at least in the United States, because I feel like it does get covered well. China has they've had the Great Firewall forever. Like China has very much pushed down kind of an authoritative regime of controlling information, controlling the message, controlling, like, it's just the way of pushing control down onto a general population, right? By controlling, who's a good guy, who's a bad guy. We've seen it numerous times when people push back. There was like that massive YouTuber who was live streaming, whose feed got pulled out. There was that tennis star who spoke out against allegedly being sexually assaulted by a high-ranking military official in China. She disappeared for a week and came back and apologized that she was mistaken. Okay, so with this particular one, when 1 billion people's information comes out, obviously the question is, why did you have my information? What kind of information was it? So instead of getting in front of this and being transparent and talking about whatever, China's just straight up suppressing the information around that. So it'll turn into like a rumor and then probably just kind of disappear. So unfortunately, this is control at a massive information control at a massive, probably one of the largest scales ever. And by the way, if they ever find China Dan, it's not going to be good for China Dan. It's a lot of work, a lot of egg on the face for the China government. And China Dan is they probably have people looking for China Dan right now.
We will pay you if you can find a way to hack us, says Pentagon. The U.S. Department of Defense has created a broad but short bug bounty program for reports of vulnerabilities in public-facing systems and applications. The Hack US or Hack Us program kicked off on Independence Day and is scheduled to run through to today, July 11th, with reward totals reflected by the severity of the flaws. The DoD has allocated up to $110,000 for the exploit hunt. Vulnerability spots can bring in $500 or more for high-severity flaws, and critical holes are worth at least $1,000, with as much as $5,000 set aside for particular awards, such as for the best finding for .army or .mil addresses. The initiative is being run with bug bounty platform maker HackerOne, which teamed up with the DoD to operate a 12-month pilot program that ended in April.
All right. So obviously the pilot was a high success. I have a lot of thoughts on this. First of all, I think this is a great idea. The whole concept of like the bug bounty platforms allow organizations to have teams and teams of security researchers looking at their infrastructure, looking at their external facing footprint, and only paying for when things are found, right? So it's brilliant. That way you don't hire someone and hope that they can find something or hope that they're good. You can have teams of people. A couple things. One, they ran a pilot program. It was for a select group of people only. And obviously it went smashingly because they're doing this again. They said broad but short. I want to point out from my theory is that what you're doing is you're opening up, granted, you're doing it through HackerOne, which is the right way to do it. You're opening up the external facing Pentagon assets, right? So it's for those who don't know that are international, maybe the Pentagon is like the headquarters for the Department of Defense, which is essentially the U.S. military, right? So we're talking Marine Corps, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, well, maybe National Guard's not in there, but basically all of the major kind of military capacities or defense capacities. If you open up a bug bounty and you're expecting to get hammered like on your external interfaces for this period of time, that would be a perfect time for threat actors to probe and check, because I know a lot of threat actors operate with immunity already, but you can hide in the noise by banging in there during this window of time, because the Pentagon's going to have more relaxed posture because they're expecting people to be hammering on it, right? So I think that's part of the reason why they're making it short. The only things I would think of, again, I'm putting myself in the seat of like Pentagon CISO, right? Or Department of Defense CISO. I'd almost prefer inviting a select group of all-star hackers, right? So like say the top 50 on HackerOne's scoreboard, and inviting them to like a pwn to own style event. And if you don't know pwn to own, PWN number 2 OWN, pwn to own. It's a contest that happens every year. And it's basically they bring in all these security researchers, like top tier security researchers, and they'll give them like the brand new unreleased iPhone or the brand new unreleased Windows operating system. Usually it's like hardware, and they'll give them a weekend and they just like hammer on it and like 0-day the hell out of it. And then you end up getting to keep that's why it's called pwn to own. You get to keep whatever you pwn, and that's the cool part with the hardware, but also a ton of great security research comes out of it. So what's the point of this? My point is they bring all these people in and they operate in a controlled state. So you know that only the 30 people who are in that room who are coming from that IP range should be attacking, and everything else is sus. So that's just one thing that I would think of. But obviously the Pentagon has their ducks in a row. They probably have good blue teamers looking at the attacks and stuff like that as they're coming in. So anyways, long story short, this right here is an example. If, by the way, if you're going for an interview or something, this right here is a perfect example of the US government actually evolving at the speed of industry versus the speed of government, which is notoriously slow and way behind. So I love this bug bounty platform or bug bounty program for the Pentagon.
Tech's red-hot hiring spree shows signs of cooling. The tech industry's ultra-rapid hiring during the pandemic is showing signs of cooling off, and a number of top executives are preparing for it to get worse. With a fear of recession looming, executives from high-profile tech companies have announced plans to slow hiring or cut jobs, and are, in some cases, warning employees to brace themselves for tougher times ahead. Although the overall labor market remains tight, with strong demand for workers in some sectors and positions, warnings from some tech leaders heightened fears of a tough stretch ahead for a sector whose influence and power touches virtually every aspect of society. Twitter, Tesla, Snap, Netflix, Amazon, Meta, Coinbase, and Robinhood are some of the high-profile names who have made cuts or announcements of cuts recently.
Okay, so big tech, fintech, anything kind of crypto related, anything associated with that surged during the pandemic. So like remote conferencing softwares like Zoom, um, and like long distance, not long distance, but remote education type things. These are the kind of the areas, guys. If you think about it just from a business perspective, right? um Money comes into the business. A lot of these tech industries now, Twitter, Netflix, Amazon are obviously really well known, but a lot of these quote unquote tech startups, quote unquote, um big tech, or not big tech, but like growing into big tech, we're getting tons and tons of money thrown at it, right? Again, a lot of wealthy people made a lot of money during COVID. I know many of us were receiving like stimulus checks and stuff like that. But if you go back and look, like wealthy people were making lots of money during the pandemic. And because of that, they're investing the crap out of it, because that's how you make wealth, is by companies and stuff. Anyways, without getting into all that crap, tons of money's coming in. These tech startups want to spend the money, right? So they can grow and surge and all these other things. And unfortunately, there is a real human cost when and it's really the CEO's fault and the executive leadership team when they hire past capacity, because they're projecting where they're going to be, and then they get punched in the mouth and they're nowhere near that, and they're like, oh, and by the way, the most expensive thing to any business, right? There's like assets and liabilities on your balance sheet. The most expensive thing is always labor. So unfortunately, it becomes quite easy to say, well, we need to save X amount of money in order to get back on balance. Let's just it's just easy. Let's just eliminate these 50 people or this department or this entire office. Let's just lop it off. Let's get rid of this business unit. Let's stop this service. Whatever it is a crude, simple way to save money, which does not account for like the human impact. So that's what's happening here. I would say this: cybersecurity, I don't want to call it fully insulated, but guys, threat actors are going to keep threat acting, right? They don't get laid off. It's almost kind of like a bug bounty program ish, right? Essentially, ransomware being so popular and business email compromise being so popular. So, cybersecurity professionals, I feel pretty good that we are insulated. The only way like a cyber person is going to get fired is if the company goes under, or they're making such strict cuts that they're starting to cut bone instead of cutting fat. So just take heart at that we are probably later on down the chopping block, if at all on the chopping block. So there's something heartwarming and kind of perverse about being in the cybersecurity space. I know many of you have worked really hard to get in cyber, or are still working very hard to break into cyber. So just don't sweat this too much. Okay, obviously it's not good for the economy. Inflation's going up, recession is coming, but just cyber is a bit of an insulated one. But there are so many sad stories of people moving, like Coinbase did this to some people, people moving, accepted the job, and they get there for their first day, or the day before their first day, and they get an email saying like the position's no longer available, right? Like you've moved, you've quit your job, you have made arrangements, you have a new apartment with a lease, and freaking some faceless corp fires you before you even start. It's gross. And there's hundreds of stories. You see it all over LinkedIn and social media. So, anyways, be mindful of this because this is indicator of recession, but I feel pretty good from a cyber perspective.
Maastricht University wound up earning money from its ransomware attack. The Dutch university was hit with Klop ransomware in December of 2019, which had been deployed through a phishing email scam. The university decided to pay the 30 Bitcoin ransom, which was equal to roughly 200,000 euros, in order to avoid delaying exams and losing all its research, educational, and staff data. However, since the Netherlands Public Prosecution Service later traced and seized a wallet containing the ransom still held as Bitcoin, their value had grown to approximately 500,000 euros. The university executive board said it wants to use the money to create a fund that would allow the university to help students in need.
Wow. All right. So I guess there's one way to make money. So basically, ransomware victim paid the ransom, got their crap back in order, and just like sucked it up as far as the $200,000 punch in the mouth. By the time law enforcement seized the wallet, the value of Bitcoin had gone way up, and they reclaimed their money. So I guess whether it's in Coinbase or some threat actor's wallet, if you don't hold the keys, you don't hold the coin, and someone else does, and it's just it's kind of funny. The title's a little misleading, but the value of their Bitcoin went up, and when they got it back, so good on Maastricht University. It sounds like they're going to use the proceeds from profit in order to set up a kind of a public service or a student focused service to help them out, maybe with cyber attacks. I don't know. You almost never hear about um, law enforcement getting back the wallet, getting back the money. We saw it with Colonial Pipeline, which was a really interesting, very unusual situation where the U.S. government responded swiftly and got all the money back for Colonial Pipeline. But by and large, ransomware actors, they're gone like a thief in the night. So you don't ever see that. But whatever. Ray of sunshine.
Thanks to today's episode sponsor, EdgeScan. EdgeScan simplifies vulnerability management by delivering a single full-stack SaaS solution integrated with world-class security professionals. Instead of managing a plethora of point scanning tools for each layer of the attack surface and squandering precious staff resources manually removing false positives, EdgeScan offers automated and accurate contextualized alerts across the entire attack surface into a single source of truth. For more information, visit edgescan.com. That's EDGESCAN.com.
All right, that was the promotion from CISO Series. Thank you to CISO Series and David Spark and his gang. The Simply Cyber community does appreciate being able to piggyback on top of the podcast. Now, guys, since it is the halfway point and we have a natural break here, let me tell you a couple things. One, I mentioned it at the intro, Practical Ethical Hacking course from TCM Academy. We have one voucher left, compliments of the winner on Friday who threw it back into the pile. If you are interested in winning the course from the Cyber Mentor, specifically the Practical Ethical Hacking course, which is awesome. I got to tell you really quickly, if you want to enter to win this, put the letters TCM for Cyber Mentor, TCM in chat right now. That's how you enter. I will draw the winner at the end of the show today. TCM, Tango Charlie Michael, in chat right now. Devin Bowling's got it. Okay, guys, I just wanted to tell you, I've taken this course. It's fantastic. You do not have to be an aspiring pen tester to enjoy it. The course is broken into two parts. The first part it does end with like a little lab that you get to pop a box. It's kind of fun, but it teaches you subnetting, networking, kind of how an endpoint or how a computer works that at a level that you would need to understand. Then it gets into building out an Active Directory environment, which is widespread everywhere. And then doing things like Kerber roasting, pass the hash, all these like modern techniques. Heath is a great teacher, very patient, very soothing tone to his voice. So if you haven't taken this course yet, even if you want to be a GRC analyst, there is value to be had here. So I see all of you in chat entering, so that's great. Keep it coming. And while you guys are doing that, I do want to talk about one other thing. I am associated with the US Cyber Games and also the Global Cyber Games. They are having a charity battle. I'm going to put a link to this in chat right now. Actually, mods, I'm going to drop it in chat. Can you just drop this when you get a second, please? I'm going to drop or mods are going to drop a link. Global Cyber Games, guys. This is happening during the week of Black Hat DEF CON at the Luxor in Vegas. I believe it's going to be live streamed on multiple platforms, including Simply Cyber's platform. I had a meeting with them on Friday, and Simply Cyber is fully on board. We're supporting them. So we will be co-broadcasting or restreaming or whatever you want to say. The Simply Cyber YouTube channel will be broadcasting this live on August 11th. Two things I want to tell you. One, if you are interested in entering the King of the Hill contest, right? So you can attend as a participant, a viewer, or you can enter a team of 5. There is still openings for the team. It expires July 31st. Now, guys, this isn't like a normal walk up and sign up, capture the flag. It does have a $5,000 registration fee. So I assume that you would need to get sponsored by your business or your organization, whatever. But if you're interested in doing this, my understanding is it is like a capture the flag, where teams are competing kind of in the same environment, and or they're taking on the same challenges. And obviously, as you unlock and defeat challenges, you get points, and there'll be a leaderboard and everything. There will be shoutcasters who are live giving the analysis. And until further notice, I, Gerald Ozier, will be field side, like, like the reporter at the 50-yard line who like they cut to periodically and they interview someone or they give some type of analysis, and then they go back to the two guys or the woman and man, or the two women, whatever, in the booth, and they go back to the play-by-play. This right here, this is what a sideline reporter looks like. As far as I know, will be at the Luxor August 11th doing the sideline reporting. They'll cut to me. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a hashtag Team Replay shirt on, or maybe I'll have some type of formal World Cyber Games, Global Cyber Games thing. I don't know. But anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun. I just wanted to tell everyone about it because I'm going to be involved with it. And I'm, Simply Cyber's proud to be a sponsor.
Rogers CEO apologizes for massive service outage in Canada and blames a maintenance update. The outage at Rogers Communications that shut down mobile and internet services across much of Canada on Friday was not a cyber attack, but was instead what Rogers president and CEO Tony Staffieri described as, quote, a network system failure following a maintenance update in our core network, which caused some of our routers to malfunction, end quote. With many businesses, government agencies, and parts of the 911 emergency service rendered powerless during the 15-hour outage, experts are calling this, quote, a learning opportunity for threat actors such as Russian state-sponsored hackers who can now see how vulnerable Canadian industry, financial institutions, and healthcare systems are to an attack on a telecom provider, end quote.
Okay, guys, like, couple things here. One, I think it's a little bit of a stretch to say that like international APTs have now uncovered that Canada is fragile. Come on, like every country, first world or not, has critical infrastructure, and when you punch a core piece of networking equipment in the mouth, yes, you can bring things down. I don't think APTs are like, oh crap, hey, let's focus on Canada. It looks like they're weak and vulnerable. Like, dude, come on. Okay, but the more important thing here is, and this is, guys, like you may want to walk away. You might want to go grab a cup of coffee because you're like, this is so basic blocking and tackling. But guys, as boring as it is, I know my red teamers and the blue teamer people are like, oh my God, this GRC nerd. Listen to me. This right here, this risk can be mitigated, not remediated, right? Because accidents do happen, but can be reduced. The risk can be reduced through change control board. Yes, configuration change management, the boring part of IT because you can't move fast, you can't move agile. I've got to explain what I'm doing. Oh my God, a rollback plan? Are you serious, Jerry? Why do I need a rollback plan? This is absolutely going to work. There's going to be no issues. I've done this 1,000 times. Yeah. Okay. Here is why we have configuration change boards with test plans and rollback plans, because things like this happen. Yes, it wasn't a cyber attack. Obviously, probably somebody more junior, okay, made an edit and didn't catch it. If you have worked in IT, right? I'm not even mad about this, right? If you've worked in IT for any period of time, you absolutely have a production outage story. Everybody does it. It's almost a rite of passage of working IT. And granted, you never want it. Nobody signs up for a production outage, but it happens. One time I updated an app live in production because we didn't have a test environment, just, YOLOing in production. I was a developer. Updated a query to a main billing production system and forgot to join the tables in the where clause, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, essentially you're supposed to like tighten up your database queries. And I had one that wasn't tight. It was like it forked basically. And I brought production down. It sucked, right? It sucked because you can't back up a database query. You can't stop a database query. Like, it's in the middle of querying. Um, that was a hot mess on fire. So anyways, everybody's got one of these. If you worked in IT, you know you've got one of these. Uh, Long story short, learning opportunity, as they mentioned. They're probably going to tighten up the change control board, maybe have a dev system of some sort to test these things on, maybe have a senior network engineer review the change before the change is implemented. But at the end of the day, you can have all of these great checks, but at the end of the day, somebody has to log into the console, hit the changes, and press update. No matter what, that has to happen on a production system at some point. So, these things happen, and good on Rogers for admitting, it was a maintenance outage. Although I bet you they admitted that so they could avoid people being freaked out that it was a cyber attack.
Medical debt collection firm says ransomware attack exposed information on over 650 healthcare organizations. In a statement issued last week, professional finance company PFC said that during the February attack, the Quantum ransomware group used the Bumblebee malware loader to gain access to databases that held names, addresses, accounts receivable balances, information regarding payments made to accounts, dates of birth, social security numbers, and health insurance data and medical treatment information. Its role as a debt collection firm means healthcare organizations provide the company with information on patients or customers who have not paid, making them an ideal target for hackers. PFC notified the 657 companies in May.
Yeah, this sucks. Okay, so medical debt collection, obviously, at least in the United States, we don't have like Iceland's healthcare system or Holland's healthcare system where it's like you just go in and it's a public service. In fact, the healthcare system in the United States, the way that like things are priced is kind of confusing. You don't actually find out the price of things until after you get serviced. But medical debt is a real thing. Clever that this quantum ransomware or quantum cyber attack firm or whatever um, took this data. As they mentioned in the story, there's tons of information. My initial thought is yes, it's double extortion where they'll ransomware the PFC company and get paid that way. They'll probably do double extortion where they get paid to not release the data, but the threat actors have access to this. And if they really want, they can now pivot and start attacking um, the people who are in the population of those databases, right? I.e., oh, I see Joel Belton has an outstanding $200,000 X-ray service that he had done in 2019. Okay, no problem. I'll just contact Joel Beltham and tell him that the Department of Justice is going to release an indictment for him but he can settle his $200,000 X-ray debt with $1,000 in Amazon gift cards. I know that sounds absurd, but people buy gift cards all the time and give them to threat actors, especially in the United States, where we have an aging population that does get a lot of health care. And unfortunately, people who didn't financially plan for their future and their golden years end up going into debt. So a lot of juicy targets, which is vile that that is the case, but it is a reality. So I guess there's no really action for us individually for the day-to-day workers, but we should be mindful as an industry that I could see threat actors pivoting in the next 2 to 3 months as they kind of stage their attacks, identify their targets, and start executing. That this would be like a victimized population coming up here in the fall, sadly.
Last week in ransomware. Earlier last week, the Astra Locker ransomware group decided to shut down and release its decryptors after receiving attention from researchers. These decryptors allowed MCSoft to release their own decryptor. 2 new enterprise targeting ransomware operations appeared last week, one called Red Alert, the other Omega, both of which perform double extortion attacks. Checkmate is a new ransomware targeting QNAP devices but not stealing any data. And in addition to the just mentioned quantum attack on PFC, the US government is warning about the Maui ransomware that is targeting healthcare.
Okay, so that was just kind of a ransomware roundup done by CISO series. The Maui ransomware we already heard about, right? That was the North Korean one that seemed like it was done from like some non-Lazarus group threat actor. Also, the QNAP ransomware where they weren't asking for extortions, but whatever. It's just QNAP. No big deal. So the Red Alert ransomware is interesting. This one is a call to action for individuals in chat right now listening. If you operate in an environment that has ESXi chassis, which many of us do, right? VMware, I feel like VMware was like 1 foot in the cloud pool where you're like, oh, like let's virtualize our infrastructure, but not put it in the cloud, right? So VMware ESXi has been around for a decade or so. A lot of industry businesses use ESXi chassis. So you don't, at the end of the day, you do not want your VMware environment ransomware. That would really suck, especially because it's often like critical IT infrastructure that is in these ESXi chassis, web apps, domain controllers, file servers, etc. It makes it easy for management. It makes it easy for backups and continuity, but it also centralizes your core assets and makes it an easier target, if you will. So the call to action: Google Red Alert ransomware and see how it's affecting the VMware ESXi technologies, and make sure that your environment is not at risk. If it were me, what I would do is do this research. If there's any kind of concern, package it up in a way that is easy to digest, including what the problem is. No, it's okay, Stefan. Post what the problem is, and then post what the resolution is from VMware. I'm sure they have some type of security advisory, security mitigation, whatever, and send that over to your team, whether it's your IT, director of IT, depending on the size of your organization, right? Sometimes you have dedicated people doing managed endpoint. Sometimes you have just an IT person or director of IT or whatever. Your infrastructure lead, let them trickle it down. And then this is a key thing that a lot of people often miss: follow up with them on Wednesday and ask, hey, what happened with that VMware thing? Or if you have like a weekly meeting where you're part of that IT group's meeting, bring it up there, right? So this is Monday morning, 8:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Plenty of opportunity to lay this groundwork now and then follow up in 24 to 48 hours sooner if this is like a critical issue. But the fact that it was part of a ransomware roundup makes me think that it's not terrible. By the way, your ransomware protections shouldn't be variant specific. You should be implementing ransomware protection and response controls regardless of what the current ransomware du jour is.
Pen tester said he broke into data center via hidden route, running behind the toilets. Noted security consultant Andrew Tierney, who works for security services outfit Pen Test Partners, revealed on Twitter how he managed to gain unauthorized access to a data center when he discovered that the toilet facilities for an unnamed client's general office space and the secure area where the IT infrastructure is housed had a shared access space for servicing both sets of facilities. Flushed with his success, Tierney noted that he had just managed to defeat the data center's security protection, which involved man-trap entry gates where personnel had to surrender all digital devices upon entry. Even worse, the toilet layout was visible for all to see on public planning documents, meaning that anyone could have figured out how to bypass security. He single-handedly gave new meaning to the term IP access.
Wow, you don't see CISO series getting into the literal potty humor very often, but that is pretty funny. And way to go to this threat actor for figuring this out. Um, yeah, I see the Austin Powers reference, right? Who does number two work for? Okay, so this is really funny. This is a physical security attack, which we don't often see, y'all. This is a physical security attack. So I guess really the key takeaway here is, and this is a great opportunity if you're looking at your own organization's defense. Obviously, this is a funny story, so it's memorable. Data centers are crown jewels, right? If you can get physical access to a system, it doesn't matter what cool software or cool tech you have in line, right? Like you have the newest firewall, the newest IDS, the newest everything. If you can walk up and plug a thumb drive into a machine or pull the blade out and get a terminal shell right there, it's not great, right? It's very, very bad. So physical security is a big thing. Obviously, it's a higher risk move because you're physically there. You're putting yourself at physical risk. Um, Man traps. This is where you walk in and the door closes behind you before the door in front of you opens, right? This is a way to trap the person into a box. That way, if you don't scan right, they've got you dead to rights and they can call law enforcement or whatever to come get you. CCTV cameras, swipe badges, right? Watch Mission Impossible 1 and watch them get into the knock room, right? All sorts of security. There's all sorts of physical security controls. So the problem is you have to secure all the exits. This is a great example of being like, well, hyper vigilant, but not thorough, right? So apparently there was some type of physical access, somehow physical access from behind a toilet, whether it was a closet or I don't know, like a false wall or something like that. I can't imagine the pen tester broke the wall down in order to get in there, but they were able to walk right in and that area wasn't secure. So you have to be mindful from a physical security perspective when you are doing your baseline assessments and stuff like that, and you're looking at physical security. Physically walk the data center, see where the entrances are, look at how access is controlled to all of those entrances. Ask the data center manager how people come in and out. Do they sign in? Is there CCTV? Are there swipe badge access? Who looks at this door? There's an emergency exit here. Can it be opened from the outside? Can we come through the ventilation system, right? You need to be thorough. Final thing I'll mention, and this does punch GRC people in the mouth a little bit, but guess what? I identify as a GRC person. We're real people too, okay? GRC people are real people. This right here highlights a real problem with compliance versus security, okay? If you're doing a compliance audit on cybersecurity, right? And you get to the physical security section, which is always a fun section because you're walking around, you're physically looking at stuff, you're talking about humidity and temperature controls and fire suppression systems and all this other crap, right? If you ask the data center manager, how are you protecting physical access? They will show you all this glorious front door stuff. look at this man trap. Look at this CCTV. We have armed guards, canines. Like we've got the little blast shield thing so a car can't come in here. Okay, that's all great. And if you just take that as the exhaustive answer for your audit question and you move on, then people can come from behind toilets and then you're not actually validating the security of anything. You're validating a piece of the security and then saying that you're compliant, which gives a misrepresentation of your security posture to management who thinks that they're good to go and they're not. Okay, so this actually points out when you have to be thorough on audit or else what the consequences could be. Now, granted, this is a pen tester, so it's a white hat, it's a good person who then explains that they were able to get through the toilets. But I don't know. I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Couple episodes, Splinter was able to get, I mean, not Splinter, Shredder was able to get into the sewers. Okay. So there is access through toilets. The struggle is real.
It's never too early in the week to start thinking about Super Cyber Friday from the CISO series.
Okay. So that's going to do it for today's live stream for the CISO series. We do have a couple production things. Obviously, I desperately want to turn the music on to see if it garbles my audio or if it just makes a cool background ambiance. I'm really thinking about doing it, guys. I'm going to do it right now. I'm turning the audio on. Let me know if my audio goes to crap, okay? Okay, the audio is on. Got some music playing. Did my audio go sideways? Let's see. So we're going to be raffling off the Practical Ethical Hacking course voucher right now. Shout out and thanks again to, yes, we win. Thank you, Brian Wood. All right. We're going to raffle off this Practical Ethical Hacking course right now. Shout out and thanks to, I'm hearing that audio got weird. No. Some people are saying the audio is good. Some people are saying it's bad. Mostly good. Oh, no. All right, I'm going to turn the audio off, guys. I'll turn the audio off. Guys, I desperately like ambiance. Yeah. Oh, my God. Guys, all right. So you may not know this, all right? I have an affinity, like almost borderline a problem with lighting, right? Like I love lights. Okay? I love lights. Obviously. Like I probably own more lights than I need to. I also love ambient sound. Okay. I love it. It's part of like why I like lights. It sets a tone, right? It's a vibe. And if my audio is making things sound crappy, that's unfortunate. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Carl. Give me a boombox, like one of these, like, right? All right. Thanks, Shane Prevos. Okay, let's just raffle off the TCM Academy vouchers here. So good luck to everybody, obviously. And let's see who our winner is. Lucky winner, chicken dinner. Joel Belton, my man. Congratulations, Joel Belton. Hold on, where are you, Joel? Oh, I see. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, where's my, hold on one second. I'm dealing with ridiculous problems here. Okay, so Joel Belton won. Congratulations, Joel. Can I give it to someone? Yeah, Joel, do you want me to raffle it off again or you have a person in mind that you want to give it to as a gift? Both are completely acceptable. We can get you set up, Joel. Let me just see. If you want to give it as a gift, that's fine. Yeah, you can give it to someone. That's absolutely fine. Joel, just send me a Discord DM of the email address of the individual you want to give it to, and I'll get it over to TCM Academy, and we'll wrap it up. Yeah, that's perfect. You won it. It's yours, man. Congratulations to Joel, and thank you to everybody that played in the raffle last week and today. Good times. Guys, I want to remind everybody, in case you didn't know, this Wednesday on ThreatGen's YouTube channel, we will be doing red versus blue, playing as the blue team. Some of you may recognize Brandon Poole. He has been in a couple of Simply Cyber videos around detection engineering and SOC analyst. Brandon is a really, really advanced blue teamer. Okay. Wicked good guy. He and I have a monthly meeting. We were talking. He talks about Bryce as a security framework from a defensive posture. And I was like, dude, I know a lot about cybersecurity. I never heard of Bryce. And he's like, actually, it's a product management framework, but some people are trying to entertain it and engage it as a cybersecurity framework. So I said, okay, you know what sounds good? Why don't you come on and we'll pilot it together, but you can explain what Bryce is and how it works and everything like that. So if you want to learn about a new framework and obviously meet Brandon, Brandon is a very cool guy. I really, really respect him immensely. Come hang out with us on Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. on the ThreatGen YouTube channel. So you can see ThreatGen at the top of the promo card, ThreatGen. Just type that in YouTube and you'll find that. Also, I'm super pumped about this. I will be promoting this on the Black Hills Information Security Discord server actually later in like 10 minutes. Guys, this Thursday, I do Simply Cyber live on Thursday afternoons. And a lot of times it's just me and one guest, or it's just me like flipping out about CISO shelf lives. But every once in a while, I do kind of a bigger production show, right? You may remember I did one with Jack Scott and Stefan Semmelroth and a couple other people around transitioning from the military to private sector. We've had this panel of cybersecurity recruiters in the past. This Thursday, we are focusing exclusively on neurodivergent candidates, what neurodiversity is, how businesses can actually be more inclusive of neurodivergent individuals, also to the benefit and incentive of those businesses, how they can unlock the actual real potential of those neurodiverse candidates and actually get more value out of them than a typical non-neurodivergent candidate on specific applications, right? If you're a neurodivergent candidate, if you have ADHD, if you're autistic, if you or you know someone who is, right, Asperger's, whatever it is, how can you approach a business and be like, hey, I've got this quote unquote disability. You tell me if it's a disability. I've heard it called the invisible disability, so I don't think I'm being inappropriate or rude. But how can you basically turn it on its head and take it from a weakness to a strength in the way that you present yourself as a cybersecurity candidate? We're going to be talking to these four guys. We got Australia, England, United States, Canada represented, and then my good friend and friend of Simply Cyber community, Nate O'Reilly, who is a very successful cybersecurity professional and an outspoken neurodivergent individual, right? He suffers from, or not suffers. He is neurodivergent. I guess I don't even know the right way to say these things, which is why I'm doing the live stream. He's going to be talking about it from an individual's perspective who has gone through these things from their point of view. This is going to be an awesome stream. Okay, very, very awesome. A lot of educational value, a lot of opportunity. So please share this. I don't usually push the live streams as strongly as this one, but I feel like this is a very important topic that not a lot of people understand, appreciate, or know what to do. Like a lot of people have great intentions, but they don't know how to execute on them. This stream is going to help with that neurodiversity thing. So I'm super pumped about that and super happy that all of them are willing to get together. Because guys, Ricky Burke, he's getting up at like 4 a.m. to talk to us. Paul Charles, it's like 9 p.m. where he is. Okay. So these guys are all making sacrifices to be part of this stream. So I love it. All right, guys. That's going to do it for today. It was episode 150. Whoop, whoop. Quite the milestone. I love us. We're doing good work. It is Monday, July 11th. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Go into the week strong, kick butt. Make sure to look into that red alert, VMware, ESXi, ransomware variant, because it's big for a lot of people. And we will meet back up tomorrow at 8 a.m. If you got value, hit the thumbs up button or the like button or whatever, subscribe, bells for notification, the whole YouTube, like, bleh. But more importantly, share this with people if you think that they're going to get value out of it. I get value out of it every day. I see a lot of people who get value out of it. So let other people know. Let's not hoard it and keep it to ourselves. All right. Be good, everybody. We'll talk tomorrow.